Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "The most important question you can ever ask is if the world is a friendly place." But before one ponders too deeply on the mysteries of this wonderful universe, one must always do this one thing every single time. You must have a glass of whole milk on the rocks. Of course, that's just a personal preference. You can do whatever you want. 10 years ago, I had a friend, he used to come to me all the time. He would say the same thing. He would say to me, "Andrew," and he was my biggest encourager by far at that time. He would say to me, "Andrew, listen, good things are coming your way. You just can't stop them." Okay? Over and over. Every time we'd converse, every time he'd see me, he would say that. Every time. "Good things, Andrew, good things are coming your way. You just can't stop them. They're coming. You just can't stop them." That was his view of the world. Unfortunately, and I'm going to tell you a little bit later, unfortunately, something happened with this gentleman that is key to all of what I'm talking about here. But needless to say, and I'll tell you that story a little bit later on here because it has to do with, what I'm talking about now. But needless to say, what he said stuck with me. It's shaped my outlook on life, and in this video, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the theory of the benevolent universe. Okay, wait. Before you move on and think I'm just like woohoo getting crazy here, this is a very simple concept. You're going to get it. It's going to possibly change your outlook on life and therefore change your life. But this is a theory by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Srikumar Rao. He teaches on a good many things having to do with our mindset, spirituality. But let me get into this theory of the benevolent universe. But before we get into that, we all know that person who feels like the world is out to get them, right? Somebody says something a little off, and immediately they interpret it through the lens of, oh, they were trying to be nasty to me, right? Maybe that person was having a bad day and they shouldn't have said what they said to you. But instead, immediately that person, instead of, giving grace or thinking like, oh, maybe they were just having a bad day, to them, their mindset is the world is out to get me. So that person is bad. They're terrible. They're out to get me. That's a very disheartening perspective to have on life. There's another perspective that says that in fact the universe is conspiring with you to accomplish your goals and to work out things in your life that are best for you, so that things that happen to you in your life are actually for the good. If you are a Christian and if you know the Bible, there's a concept in the Bible that says, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That we know in all things, right? God works for the good of those who love Him. That is a mindset, folks. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but tuck that away. The theory of the benevolent universe says that the universe is here to help you. So it's like this. Say you're a child, you want, an ice cream cone, and instead your parents give you vegetables. Well, so you're taken aback. You're actually mad about that because you wanted that ice cream. And instead, they gave you these delicious, tasty, wholesome, healthy vegetables, right? Because they loved you, because there's nutrients that will help you grow and mature and develop and all these wonderful things. But you wanted ice cream. What's happening there is that as a child, you don't have the intellect or the foresight yet to understand what is happening in that moment. It's only later when you grow up and you look back and you say, wow, thank God that, I had those vegetables, because if I would have just eaten ice cream all the time, then I wouldn't have turned out this way. So what if that was the same concept that we had of the world around us, or of the universe, as some would say? Back to the Albert Einstein quote, do you believe that the world is a good place? And back to what I said earlier, do you believe good things are coming your way? Or do you wake up in the morning and you think bad things are going to happen? Of course, there's no good things that are going to come my way today. The universe, the world is a bad place, and bad things are going to happen, and that's just the way it is. So why in the world would you subscribe to the benevolent universe theory? Well, maybe you're a Christian and you think, well, I don't know about this whole universe thing. I believe in God. That's great. But at the root of the verse that I mentioned earlier, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Why is that important? Well, one, if you're a believer, you believe in a good God who wants to do good things for you. And so what that does is it actually shifts your mindset to think about good things. So when something happens that is unfortunate, where your mind goes is to good things, because you know that good things are coming. Does that make sense? If your mindset is such that you believe that bad things are happening in the world around us, all around us in the universe, and that bad things are just going to happen to me, then when bad things happen, you're going to get stuck in that rut. Someone who has a mindset shift and believes that good things are coming their way is going to be attuned to good things coming their way. Therefore, when bad things happen, they're going to look for the silver lining in that tragedy or in that thing. But if you are also into religion, this is where religion goes awry sometimes. What sometimes happens in the Christian realm or in other religious circles is that people take an extreme view, okay? And here's what I mean. They think that when tragedy happens, they're calling that tragedy something good. I'm never going to call that tragedy something good. That's always going to be bad. If someone gets cancer, right? That is a terrible thing. I'm never going to call that cancer in that person's body a good thing, even if because of that cancer something else is sparked, something else good happens. Maybe a friend or a relative has a renewed sense of purpose in their life because they see what you're going through and they're faced with your mortality. Maybe you're faced with your mortality and you have a radical mind shift because of that cancer, and you beat it and you come onto the other side of it, and then you say, oh, that cancer was awesome. Or some would go as far as to say, oh, guess what? God gave me that cancer. Do you see what I mean? I am not at all subscribing to the belief that there is a God or a universe, whatever you believe in, whatever you want to call that, that is bestowing bad things on us so that we can find good out of them. That is not what I'm talking about, and that is not the theory that I am proposing. Yes, good things can come from bad things. No one will dispute that. However, where Christianity and where religion sometimes goes wrong is to say that God made that bad thing happen so that good could come from it. That I do not believe in. However, back to that mindset shift that says, I believe that good things are happening in my life, no matter what, okay? So when that thing comes that is just terrible, you're going to be able to step back from a different perspective and say, bad thing, but good things are coming. So, what is the good thing that could possibly come from this? And with that mindset, armed with that mindset, you will be able to conquer that bad thing. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, that does not make that bad thing or that tragedy suddenly a good thing. It just means that you have the wherewithal, you have the mindset to look for the good in the bad. That is really all I have to say, folks. Armed with that knowledge, armed with that belief, you can conquer anything in your life, because you can step back and say, I know that even with this tragic thing, something good is going to come, and I am going to actively look for it. Because guess what? If you are looking for it, you will find it. If you're not looking for it, guaranteed, you will miss it. Because sometimes it's really hard to find. I'm going to wrap it up with this. My friend that I talked to you about earlier, who used to say to me, good things are coming your way, you just can't stop them. Well, unfortunately, about a year after that, he got tangled up in some bad religion. And whereas before, he had this absolutely beautiful, childlike, and when I say that in the best possible way, a childlike wonder and amazement at all of life. Everything was a wonder and a mystery, and he just believed that things were good and good things were happening. All of a sudden, when he got tangled up in some bad parts of religion, some bad parts of Christianity, he had a mindset shift. And rather than thinking that good things were coming, he got wrapped up in what is called legalism, the letter of the law, and it killed him. Not in a physical way, but in a mind shift way. And I just saw the light from his face just slowly retreat. No longer would he come to me and say, Andrew, good things are coming to you. Instead, he had a negative mind shift. And it absolutely just devastated me to see this happening before my eyes, and to realize that it was happening because of bad theology, bad mindset, bad whatever you want to call it. He got wrapped up in some teachings that really brought him down. He's never recovered to this day. He's not the same person he was when he first had that absolute awe and that absolute love of life. So with that in mind, Albert Einstein says the most important question you can ask is if the world is indeed a friendly place. I'm going to leave you with that and the theory of the benevolent universe that says that the universe is conspiring with you to accomplish your goals and your dreams, and is really going to give you what you need. If you are a believer in Christ, in Christianity, probably believe that God is a good God and He's going to give you good things. These are all perspectives that we have that shape our worldview and that set us on a course of doing good in the world and looking for the good in the world and looking to redeem the bad things that are in the world. So with that mindset, go out, do some good, look for good, and be a force of good in your own life every single day when you wake up, every single morning, and in the lives of others. Just like my friend did with me when he said, good things are coming your way. Don't be afraid to be that encourager for somebody. You never know how it will change their outlook and their perspective, just like it did with me. So with that, I will see you next week. I gotta drink my milk.